Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to our journey through the real book number 245, which is the great jazz ballad, My Foolish Heart by Victor Young and Ned Washington. It's the 245th tune in the real book, volume 1, 6th edition. I've numbered them all. It's on page 286 because, and the 245th tune, because some of the tunes have 2 pages. That's why sometimes people will leave a comment saying, you said it's like the 200th tune, but it's on page so-and-so. Some of the tunes have 2 pages. But there's 400 tunes in the book. We're past the halfway point. And at this point, I'm making 2 a week because I want to get through it. And then probably just start right away with volume 2 or something. But in any case, as with all the jazz piano lessons in this series, we're trying to understand these tunes, a little bit of a historical context. First thing we think about when we think about this tune is who? What famous jazz pianist? You may know, you may not. Bill Evans. Yeah, we think of Bill Evans, you know, hunched over, playing. You know, those beautiful chord voicings. But the tune goes back further. Bill Evans' recording was in the early 60s, I think, what, 62? Yeah, Village Vanguard Sessions with Scott LaFaro on bass and Paul Moshe on drums. 1962 iconic version. It's the one that most people think of when they think of this tune. But it was recorded by Sinatra, a lot of other people. It was a big hit through the 50s. That's why Bill Evans knew it and played it, and his audience would have known it at the time. It was basically a recent pop hit, relatively recently. It was written in 1949 for the movie of the same name, which I've never seen. And from the brief research I did online, not many people have seen it since. It got panned by the critics. This like overly sappy love story. I don't know, maybe it's a great movie. I've never seen it. But in any case, these tunes were known in the popular culture. They weren't known as jazz standards. They were known as pop tunes, pre-rock and roll pop tunes, which are now called the Great American Songbook, basically because they didn't have any other label for them other than pre-rock and roll pop tunes. Tunes from the early 50s and going back all the way to the beginning of the 1900s. It's a wonderful tune. I just want to talk briefly about the musical form and the chord progression and the melody a little, and then play my version and give you some ideas on playing ballads. So first of all, it's a complex tune. It's not a simple ballad where it's not in like tidy sections, okay? Like Misty, here's the A section, it starts in E flat, ends in E flat, the bridge is different, the A sections all sound the same, A, B, A. It's not like that. It's more like a body and soul, how the chord progression just goes to all these different keys. But even body and soul is a little easier to get our a mental image of in terms of the form, because it is A, B, A, with all the A sections being the same, like a Misty or In My Solitude or something. This is a little more almost through composed. The first, 1, 2, 3, 6 measures do repeat halfway through, but that's it. This tune is through composed in that it has a very classical arc in the way that a lot of Cole Porter's music does, for instance, where it starts with in B flat, we have an F in the melody. All right, that F, keep in mind that F. Da goes up a step to G and A, and now G is the sort of focus. And then it goes to A. See what I mean? There's a long-term line that goes up. F, G, A. And then I'm going to predict B flats next. Yes, B flat. Here it goes. And then it's going to go to C. And then finally D is the payoff. And what? The 9th measure. So we have F, G, A, B flat, C, and D. And then the next 8 measures are gradually coming back from D. And then back to the repeat, and then eventually it just climbs really back up to that same D again. So it's a long-term arc that's supported, in this case, by the harmonies, because the harmonies start on the 1 chord, B flat, and then 2 measures later, it's the 2 chord C minor. 2 measures later, it's the 3 chord, and then it sort of goes to just all these different keys. But that's, I think, one of the reasons why the song is so beloved, because it does have this payoff. It's not instant gratification. It's like, each time getting a little higher, and then and then a long term falling off, and then starts climbing again. The payoff doesn't happen for a while. In a totally different genre, something like Bohemian Rhapsody has the same kind of arc, although that's much longer and more like a symphony, really. But same kind of thing. Cole Porter's Begin the Beguine, So in Love. If you like this kind of tune like that, check that out. Even the next tune in the real book, My Funny Valentine, has that, which is unusual for Richard Rodgers' writing at that time in the early part of his career. This long-term arc form. So, yeah, there we go. I'm going to just start by just getting into the melody, but I'm going to kind of go up the octave. I'm not really sure of my voicing, but I'm not going to play it down here. I'm going to start a little lighter, maybe a little out of tempo, just experiment with some textures and voicings, and then get into maybe a more traditional steady jazz ballad tempo, or not. Maybe it'll stay rubato the whole time. That's part of this journey through these tunes, right? Seeing how they unfold in the moment. And you can do that when we're playing solo rather than in a band where some things have to be planned. So here we go, starting a little out of tempo, up the octave, finding some voicings, and I'll see you at the end. kind of hunting around for a voicing at the end, right? What is that voicing? And it's kind of a nice, kind of traditional B flat major 13th. And just noticing here, if we take away the bottom note and the top, I get the so what voicing. Right? It's fourths with the third on top, and then I just put a root and a third on root in the bottom, third on top. It's kind of interesting how that voicing from the tune So What is so associated with Bill Evans. And I played it at the end of a tune that's associated with Bill Evans, but I wasn't thinking of Bill Evans at the end. So go figure that one out. A lot of times, these things just come through subconsciously, or I don't know. But after the fact, we can analyze them and say, or let's say it's a Charlie Parker solo or a Bill Evans thing we're listening to and say, oh, did they mean to do that? Or did they intend to do that? Or did it just happen? Or whatever. I mean, it's right there. I played a Bill Evans voicing on a tune associated with Bill Evans, yet I wasn't thinking of doing that. I don't know. It's not a voicing I use all the time either, especially at the end of tunes. So that's the mystery. We'll leave it there with a nice musical mystery. Thanks for joining me here. I'm loving going through this book, and hopefully it's inspiring you to dive into these tunes in a more complete way. If you're interested in taking your playing to a whole new level, my video course at Keyboard Improv will take you there. keyboardimprov.com. Got over 370 or so lessons, all the way from beginning jazz, the very beginning, all the way through advanced, and also rock and pop and everything in between. Blues, a lot of blues stuff too. Thank you. Good luck with your own playing, and enjoy the journey every step of the way.